If you've been included in a medical malpractice case, I recommend you start with my first video, which is the 5 things to do right now if you've just been sued. This video, what I'd like to do is talk to you about the 7 things not to do if you've just been sued. I'm Jim Edwards and I'm a medical malpractice defense attorney. And there's 7 things that I or any medical malpractice defense attorney would prefer you not do if you've been included in a lawsuit. And believe me, we've seen every one of these rules violated. The first one is, don't have any communication whatsoever with the plaintiff's lawyer. I've had clients who decided they could call up the plaintiff's lawyer and talk him out of the lawsuit. It's not going to happen. I wish it was, but it's not. So don't have any communications with the plaintiff's lawyer. If the plaintiff's lawyer tries to contact you, be polite but be firm and say, talk to my lawyer. If your insurance company hasn't lined up a lawyer for you yet, be polite and firm and say, talk to my lawyer once I have a lawyer. But don't have any contact or communication with the plaintiff's lawyer or anybody related to the plaintiff's lawyer. The second thing not to do is don't have any contact or communication with the plaintiff. That's the patient who's suing you. Now, I had a doctor once who was on duty in the emergency room, and in comes the plaintiff who's suing him. So we had about a 2 o'clock in the morning long telephone call. That's described in greater detail in my book. But the point is, don't have any contact with the plaintiff's attorney, don't have any contact with the plaintiff or the plaintiff's family. Third thing I don't want you to do is, don't make any changes to the medical record. If there's something you left out of the medical record, continue to leave it out. Your defense attorney's much happier dealing with something that wasn't in there than trying to deal with a situation where after you found out you got sued, you went and made changes to the record. That always looks bad. So number 3 is, don't make any changes to the record. Number 4, don't go get access to the hospital chart. If this patient is no longer your patient, and he or she is not if they're suing you, then you don't have a right to go into that chart. Your lawyer will be able to get all of the medical records that relate to this patient from any hospital the patient's ever been in. And he or she will get those for you so that you can review them. But don't you go into them now. Number 5, don't go talk to other doctors about the case. If you have other physicians who were involved in the patient's care at the time of the events that give rise to the lawsuit, don't go chat them up about what happened in the case. There'll be plenty of time to coordinate with them and their attorneys if they've been included in the lawsuit as the lawsuit progresses. But at this point in time, I don't want you talking to other physicians involved in the case. And I don't want you getting a curbside consult or getting advice or getting the case reviewed by another physician. We can do that as the case progresses, but if you do it now, the other side may get to find out about that. We want to do it through your lawyer so that it'll be privileged and your lawyer can control the flow of information. Number 6, don't go obtain other records. I had a case once where my doctor's wife, who was his clinical manager, obtained records on the patient from a pharmacy. We don't have a right to do that at that point. Your defense attorney can get those records, but you don't need to be going to get those records. So number 6 is don't go get other records on the patient. And number 7, the final thing I don't want you to do at this point in time is don't go do medical research. Don't go on to any of the websites or any of the news services and do medical research about this situation now. If you do, we may have to turn it over to the other side. You want to do it as your defense attorney directs and when your defense attorney directs so that he or she can control that flow of information to the other side as well. So the 7 things not to do are, number 1, don't have any contact with the plaintiff's lawyer, the plaintiff. Don't make any changes to the records. Don't go into the hospital chart. Don't contact other doctors involved or otherwise not involved for advice. Don't go obtain other copies of other records from other sources on the patient. And finally, don't go and do medical research that you might have to turn over to the other side. We're not here to help these people, we're here to win. So if you've been included in a lawsuit, my first video talks about the 5 things to do, and these are the 7 things not to do. I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, please return the favor and click on like, follow, and subscribe to the channel. I know these medical malpractice lawsuits can be really stressful, cause a lot of anxiety and concern and anger. And I think our next few videos will be able to help you deal with that. The more you know about the situation you're in, the better off you'll be. So good luck, and I'll talk to you in the next video. Thank you.